Subscribe to the EQTV YouTube. Bless up. DT. Waving. Yeah. What you saying? Coming through the universe. Down to earth. Great artists from the six, like I said before. Coming through. Yeah. On the spaceship. DT. Bless up. Coming through the spaceship. Down to earth. Down to earth. What you saying, King? Yeah.
I'm good, man.
Bless up. What you saying? How you feeling?
Pretty nice, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just getting all the lighting right for you.
It's all right, man. Don't worry, man. Take your time, you know?
There we go. That's better.
Down to earth, man. Everybody tuning in.
hmm
The artists are great artists from the six, internationally known, travels, produces, everything, multitask, introduces stuff to the world for those who may not know who you are.
Yes, sir. This is DT the artist from right here in Toronto, Canada. Mr. International. I've toured Europe 3, 4 times now, toured the States, toured Canada. Just looking to continue building, man. Now, as much as I'm an artist, I've been also focusing on doing a lot more artist development. So I got a couple artists that I'm bringing up and teaching the ways and how to do things, you know?
Yeah.
So shout out to Earthquake Sound.
Bless up, man. I seen you perform. I listened to the music, but I seen you perform even before I listened to the music online. So I knew when I seen you live, it's like you're the real thing, the boss. What I heard about you. I mean, energy, pure energy. When he's on stage, you're gonna get a show, people. Bless up. You're gonna get a show. So like, tell the people what you have going on right now. Like, what are you like since like this isolation period and what you've been doing? I know you've probably been producing and doing all types of things.
I got a lot going on. So I've been planning, I guess, my next tour for next year now. I was supposed to be on the road in Europe, but now what I'm doing is I put together an EP called Trap Toronto, which was produced by my producer, The Six. And the whole point of that was, most people, when they see it, they're going to think, oh, it's about drugs and the streets and whatever. But the reason it's called Trap Toronto is for a lot of us, Toronto's a trap. You know, you come in, you work in your daily life, you're trying to pay your bills and everything, but you're always in that rat race. You're never able to excel. You know, you might get a nice car, but then you still got to pay your bills, so you never have enough. But at the same time, we're also a city full of people who are trying to make it look like we're living a life that we're not. So I talk about that in one of the songs, In These Streets. I talk about having to deal with police and those kind of things. So what I did is I did everything in kind of a double entendre way, where you might think I'm talking about the streets and drugs and that kind of thing and avoiding police. But really I'm talking about as a black man walking in the streets, you got to keep an eye out for 12 and that kind of thing, because you can get pulled over for driving while black. You can get pulled over for being at a protest. You can get pulled over for any reason, right? So just doing things in a way where I guess two different sides of the tracks can listen to it. The people from the hood and then the people who are just trying to live a regular life and like that culture.
Yeah. So like what do you think about like what's been going on recently with us, the racial injustice, what's been going on a long time ago, but it's just now in the media more?
Well, yeah, now it's more being televised, but in all honesty, I tell my mentor, Louis March, shout out to him from Zero Gun Violence Movement, it's the youth that are going to take over the struggle, right? Because the older generation, they've come to a place where it's like, all right, nonviolence, da-da-da, we're going to go to meetings. But now you can see a lot more action is happening where it's like, hey, this needs to happen or we're going to be in your face all the time. So the youth are taking the struggle and putting it to a different kind of level. I'm actually happy to see a lot of these young people take up the mantle of leadership. A lot more people are speaking out. We have a lot of allies now who are speaking out and saying, hey, I acknowledge my privilege and I'm going to use it towards this fight.
Okay. Yeah, man. That still, even though I know that we should have had more of that long time ago. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
Especially down here in TO, we're always behind, like what's going on out like in the States with like they have more defense as much as what's going on. There's like organizations now we're building on,
Yeah.
and so it's a good thing to see right now. So, how would your opinion of like because I've been seeing you do on the hustle. How's the scene evolved in the last like 5 years? 5 years.
The interesting thing about the Toronto scene is before COVID, there was, more shows happening. People like We Stay Woke, Freddie Fame, was it? I think it was YYZ in the North guys. Shout out to them. But I noticed a lot of the shows for the people who are coming in were put together by artists.
Yeah.
So they're kind of, it became something where a lot of those shows you're performing to a room full of other artists and maybe a couple of people who love music.
Yeah.
Right. So now I'm hoping after COVID that we can start to band together and create something where now, people are going back to the old school where as an artist, before you come and perform, you're bringing fans. Like there's people who, if you post, hey, I'm performing at Earthquake Sounds, 5th anniversary launch, you have 20 people coming instead of feeling like, I'm going to come and Earthquake Sounds should have a bunch of people there. Mm-hmm. Right? The game has changed a lot where I was reading an article by CD Baby, and they were talking about in order to make $100 off of streams, you'd have to get, I think it's 280,000 streams.
Mm-hmm.
In order to make $100 selling CDs, you only have to sell 10 CDs.
Yeah.
Right? Or you could sell 20 EPs. Yeah. So when I'm developing artists, I tell them all the time, purchase CDs. Because, people who want to support you will buy a 5-track EP for $5.
Yeah.
Right? That's something where you got a square, okay, I'll tap that. I might have $5 in my pocket. But it's really looking at building the industry. And the problem with the industry was a lot of the young artists that I was meeting had no clue what the actual industry was because they were happy in this, I guess, medium or platform that was created for them, which never got them anywhere. There was no launching. Shout out to someone like Freddie Fame. He was creating something where some of these young artists could open up for bigger artists and those kind of things. But then what I've noticed is a lot of people, they aren't actually looking into the artist development. Now, me, besides being an artist myself, I do artist development. And I'll be honest with you, that is not the fun part of being an artist. Because I now got to look at your package and say, hey, this doesn't work, that doesn't look good, this doesn't sound good. And do that behind closed doors so that when you go out in front of people, you look good. Yeah. Right? A lot of people, they don't want that. They don't want people telling them, oh, your music doesn't sound good, or hey, your pictures don't look good, or things aren't proper.
You know what? You're right, because artist development is really important. We used to do that back in the days. Like, artists too, but we had the studio life really growing up around our pops with the sound, and he had equipment, and, the rest goes, We have young artists younger than me. We kind of developed them, and now I could say these guys are like sharp MCs. Every MC, what came through here, right?
Yep.
They're young. Like I saw them when they're like 15. Now some of them are like 27 and stuff. But they just didn't have that promotion. That's it. But they developed. These guys are sharp. Any one of them, I know they're ready. You get what I mean? And I'm older than them. They're like 27.
But it's a major part because when you think about artist development, not only does it help you get your package together, but then it's also going to help you with your artist or your audience engagement.
Yeah.
Right. So a lot of people will come to me like, I have this hot music and whatever. But in reality, if you have hot music, you should never have to say I have hot music. Yeah. Oh, my music is fire. Every time I hear that, I tune out. Yeah. Right. But we have tools like Instagram and TikTok and Facebook, but people aren't actually engaging anymore.
Yeah.
Right. So me, a lot of the time, I have fans in Poland and Europe and the States and Canada. When they message me, I message them back.
Yeah.
I have some guys who be like, hey, it's my sister's birthday. Will you do a video shout out? I'm like, cool, no problem. And I'll do a video shout out and send it to them. Yeah. And then they go crazy because they're like, yo, I reached the guy that I listened to. Other artists. I'll be honest, I do slack when it comes to producers because I get a lot of inboxes and emails like, yo, I'm a producer, check out my beats, and then there's something like 50 beats. And I'm like, I don't have time to go through all of this. Like, If you want to work with me, you should know what I do already and send that.
Especially when you could do it yourself.
Yeah, well, for me, I haven't been producing as much because I have my producer, The Six. So the sound that I've created, which I call Motivational Party Trap, he and I developed together. Mm-hmm. So when you hear songs like Bout That Paper and Flip and Money on the Line, like that's that sound where when you listen to it, it's motivating. You can go to the gym and work out to those tracks, but you can also listen to it in your car. You can hear it at a club.
Yeah, it's true. It's true, man. Trust me, you're ahead of the time from a long time. You're already a vet to me. Like like I describe like me. I'm like a artist, but I love music. Like it's like like sports. This is like what I'm doing right now. I said, yo, shows were canceled for me. So what I'm gonna do as an artist, I know you have to evolve. That's what we done with my dad's sound. We made it into a studio. And now, if you ain't doing shows and you're an artist, you gotta brand yourself, either clothing or
for sure.
Something like a podcast, which I always wanted to do, like a podcast and reason about certain subjects. You get what I mean? So this is the beginning right now. It's just one side. You get what I mean? Network with different artists, networking with business people, and trying to build like the scene. What people are saying, the scene has to be not just artists. We have to have people who are like the broadcasters, like the media. You get our own awards. You get what I mean? They got to
for sure.
So that's what I'm trying to bring to the table, down to earth. Sean Myrie, you get what I mean? Blessing up reasoning with a king like yourself, you get what I mean? Good business, good vibes and everything. So, we already chopped. When did you start, like, really taking your craft?
So it's funny. I started taking music seriously in 1998. So I'm dating myself. I'm around your age probably. But it's funny because when a lot of new artists meet me and they want to work with me, they only know the last couple of years that I've been touring.
Yeah.
Right? They don't know that when I started my career, I opened up for, KRS-One. Right? When I met KRS-One, he's like, what's your rap name? And I was like, it's Deep Thoughts. And he's like, brother, you have blessed hip-hop with your name. And I was like, yo, can I put that in my press kit? And he's like, yeah, go ahead. Since then, I've opened up for Dead Prez. I've opened up for, oh man, there's so much people. Chief Keef, Ludacris, Be Real.
That's good, man.
Jeez, yeah, so many. Hey, shout out to Chief Rekka. I see you, man. All my artists on the Zolo. She's somewhere around. You know, so you keep good people around you. People like Solo Key, We Stay Woke Network. Yeah, so it's been one of those things where I started in 1998. So this year will be my 22-year anniversary of being an artist. So I came from a time where you had to really put yourself together and promote yourself to get onto the stage. It's not like today where you pay $50, $100, and you're on stage. Like,
those times, 98, I just finished high school. I was like a battler. I used to battle guys.
I used to battle too.
Yeah, you see Carabana time when the Americans would come, right? And they talk the circle. I was that guy from Canada who came in and showed them some skill. You get what I mean? And all of them took out a whole bunch. They're doing the thing, a whole bunch. And after then, it was around like the Smith and Wesson times. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. Shout out to Smith and Wesson. My big bro Mike Hands out in Brooklyn.
Yeah, man.
But see, here's.
Came to TO, and after then I went on stage. They brought me on stage and I bust my, my 1-2.
Yeah.
That was like from finishing high school. I said, I just want to be I'll be an MC. I got to do my 9 to 5, whatever, but keep my hustle. And that's how artists should do it. You got to invest whatever money you make, invest it into what you
I was going to talk about that. So after I started being an artist, 2 years later, an incident happened. I won't tell you what happened, but I had to move to New York. So I was living in the Bronx, and that's where I got my hustle style from. I was making money just selling mix CDs of my own music out in Manhattan, out in Brooklyn, out in the Bronx, Queens, wherever, and really just letting people know, like, hey, this is how you can get yourself together. So I was making my own money just off of music. Yeah. And then I stayed out there for about a year and a half, and then I came back to Toronto, went to university out in Alberta, and then when I finished university, I went back to New York, and then I came back to Toronto and said, you know what, let me just start taking it even more serious.
Yeah, man, I'm proud of you, man. That's a hustle.
Mhm.
You get what I mean? Now
Yeah, man.
that's the definition of a black man. But what they say, black power. That's the power.
Yeah.
The good power.
Shout out Chief Records. Like New York knows how to hustle. It's true. You live in New York, you gotta sell peanuts, batteries. Like you selling something. Like there's a hustle.
Yeah,
Um,
good man.
but as you were saying, as an artist, you gotta have a budget. Now,
Yeah.
a lot of people, because of the way things are, they're like, oh yeah, I'll get someone to do my artwork for free. I'll get a free beat off of YouTube. I'm gonna put it up on Instagram and Spotify, and I'm gonna get 1 million views. But then they're forgetting you gotta get a publicist. You gotta get music promotion. You gotta, hey, what up, Joe Wizzy? But yeah, not only do you get a publicist, you gotta send it out to radio, right?
Yeah.
Like people are forgetting. It's great to get those streams, but with
Yeah.
radio play, you have guaranteed royalties coming in.
Know that. See, I was spitting something like that the other day because I
Mm-hmm.
know certain artist who's always on the radio, and he told me some things, and it does to me. The radio is still strong. The radio is
Yeah, for sure.
strong. And if you have your song playing all through international on the radio, that check at the end of the year is all right. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Well, every quarter, not even at the end of the year.
yeah. So radio's still stronger than the streams for my opinion.
Mm.
All the street people fake it, try to make.
Still there? There you are. You cut out for a second.
Yo,
You still there? I can't hear you.
yeah. I was trying to take us out like.
Okay, yeah, now I can hear you. The Wi-Fi sounds like it's cutting.